course, well, in the classroom, how we defined it is to be having great energy and drive to pursue to the glory and for the glory of God. And of course, being Lasallian leaders, to have a great passion in leading and to be leading by example. Good afternoon, brother. We're actually very fortunate to have you today to be able to interview you. And of course, we also noticed that your position here in the Sal is actually very high, Brother Chancellor. And of course, back in Sopel, my old high school, Brother President until now actually. And of course, your calling is to be a brother.
Right.
And one of the things about being a brother is that we notice that you exemplify easily. You exhibit the value, the trait, the virtue rather, of zeal for service. We would like to ask you actually, as a brother, how would you say define zeal for service?
We have the three core values of faith, zeal for service, and community mission. Right? You cannot separate the three because they really are one. The faith that God is always present with us because He loves us. Now, the second aspect, the zeal for service, is our response to the gifts that God has given to us. That these gifts are for us to develop, to nurture, to reach our potential, to be the best that we can be. But these are not just for ourselves. These are for the gifts that we give back to God in service of others. So that these people can experience God's love and experience God's kingdom.
It's a very loving message, brother. If, say, for example, your call was not to be a brother, if you were called to do something else, how would you, even though you're not, if you were not to be in your current position, how would you perform these acts of zeal for service, not as a Lasallian brother?
For me, one thing that makes me happy is when I make other people happy. If I were not a brother, I'd probably be a teacher.
Oh, it's very nice. So being an educator, the idea of it makes you happy.
Yeah.
So that you're managing schools also makes you really happy too.
Well, managing schools, there's a lot of challenges, but there's also a lot of meaning because the school becomes a medium for which you can help young people really be the best that they can be.
So then, actually we also see nowadays in social media and all that there are people posting videos of helping others and all that, you know, like feeding the poor and giving money to those who need it. But it also comes to us that it's publicized, you know, and it's also said in the Bible too that when you perform an act of kindness, you make sure you do it from the heart and not just to ask something from God. So we actually came to ask for your advice. How do we perform acts of zeal for service without having to want to publicize it?
Well, we don't have to do very big things. A simple act of kindness to someone that, is already great. You can do so much, make people happy through even little things, and you don't need to publicize it. And you know that you've done it, and you offer this to God, and deep down inside, the reward is already just doing it. And again, the God who knows everything, the God who knows what is in your heart, He is the one that's going to reward you. And usually this reward is much, much more than whatever prestige, honor that the world can give you.
We would like to ask your advice. What would be something as a brother that you could tell all those who wish to exhibit acts of service? What would you recommend to them? Like, what would you tell them? How do you think they could do? How do you think they could do it?
All of you young people can do so many things, even in small acts. What you're doing when you study, when you work hard in your courses, that will lead eventually to the skill and the gift of being able to heal. That's already doing something for the future. So that is big. So there really are many, many things. It's just a matter of looking around you, and you will be able to respond correctly or adequately, just to make this world a better place. place. Maybe just saying thank you, saying hello to the security guard that greets you, you say thank you to someone who serves you. I mean, those are already great acts of kindness. But also you study, to me, very important is to also get to find what is the truth. That's a big service, because it's a lot of fake news. There's a lot of through social media trying to muddle what is real and true. For you young people, maybe that will help improve our societies, to find out ways and means to always speak the truth, to find the truth, to do not contribute to the fake news or muddling what is the truth. Always speak for truth, always search for truth. And that's why your students, hopefully the university can help you be more truth seekers and truth speakers. And that will help you.
Well, for our audience actually who's watching us today, we actually want to let you know that Brother Bernie is actually spearheading a project for the second campus of the Salsabel, which is actually a very big, and I believe it is a very big act of zeal for service. And actually, acts of zeal for service can come in big or small manners, as Brother would say. So then we want to ask you one question which we believe would leave a mark. In one sentence, how would you quote zeal for service?
I will continue, oh my God, to do all my actions for the love of you.
Oh, that's very beautiful. The sign period, the first 2 lines of the sign period. Wow.
So that if you do anything because you do it for the love of God, then you'll be making this world a much, much better place than what it is.
That's very nice.
And the position of Chancellor is not important. I think the more important thing is that I am a brother, and as a brother, it witnesses that we are all brothers and sisters because we have one God and one brother in Jesus. So that's the more important thing. But I'm not, wow, this position is so good. Actually, better position is that I am a brother.
A brother. Yeah. Well,
okay, and so it's my honor for you all to be here and joining this interview. And this one just happens just because, hey, we bumped into each other.
We just bumped into each other.
Yeah.
It's a very nice. That's already an active zeal for service for everyone who's watching. It's
that's
very nice. Thank you so much, brother.
Okay,
It's
you
been
are
very
very
nice.
welcome.
Thank you so much, Brother Bernie, everyone.